Bit about thanks. So going through a little bit of history. I want to introduce Victor Martinez, who's joining the club as a technical director on the girls' side, and also with the U9 program, or nine-a-side program. So it's relevant for you guys to meet him. And then also just wanted to go through a little bit of the differences between the 9v9 and 11v11, and then hopefully we have some time for some questions. So I also want to recognize Dave Ellis here a little bit, and that is Dave came in and really helped this group out. Chris obviously Chris Paradis did a nice job with the group the previous year, but Dave came in and really did a nice job to keep the group going, and our numbers are going up, so that's super exciting and really happy with that. So I want to say thanks to Dave for coming on board, and then I wanted to introduce you to Victor. He'll be running quite a bit of the rest of the meeting, but Victor comes from us from Northern California, where he ran his own club for 10 years as part of some clubs in Los Gatos that were pretty high level clubs. Worked with ECNL, if you're familiar with that, and some MLS Next teams. So some pretty high level stuff, and he's contributed greatly already to some of the things that we're doing as a club. We continue to get better. Hopefully you all got a email today about coaches evaluations. We hope that you all fill that out for us. We did set a deadline, I believe, for May 4th. But anyway, we're working towards using those evaluations to help us align with coaching selection for teams, but also just to give feedback to us as directors and also the coaches themselves about what things that going well and what things aren't going well. Additionally, there's a couple other things that are going to be going out. We're sending out today coaches evaluations. So coaches are going to are receiving player evaluation forms, and they're going to be filling those out in the next week and then sending to the technical directors, which will be sending all of you individual player evaluations from the coaches. So in the past clubs I've worked with, some of these evaluations can take the coaches anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. This one should take 10-15 minutes, and they'll be able to grade your player on quite a few different pieces of the game, as well as mental, physical, and skill technical pieces, but also a little bit of a note for things that the coach saw, both personally and as well as some other things to hopefully lift the players for next year. So we're hoping to get those out to the parents. Not hoping, we will get those parents out before tryouts. So we got a pretty tight timeline, but again, and it's good for the kids to get that, and also the parents get that before tryouts and before next year starts. And then also with that, Victor will probably talk about this, but we'll be doing 2 different evaluations of the players going forward, one after our fall season, and then one after our spring season next year. So we'll be getting two more evaluations as we go along in the process. So, we didn't get it done last year, partly because we were just really struggling to get the club to a spot where we're at today, and I feel really good about it. Bryce Burton has done an amazing job of getting our organizational pieces together, and then we've been working on with the AGCs to really develop better calendars, communication, as well as some technical pieces, and really trying to build our staff up. So excited about next year, excited about the staff we're putting together and about the direction we're going in. And Victor's going to talk a little bit about that as we go on the meeting. So Victor, with no further ado, I'm going to just turn it over to you for a little bit.
Great. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here again. Good afternoon. Good evening, actually. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to go, for the sake of time, I want to kind of go through because we want to leave you some questions, time for questions and answers and stuff toward the end. So kind of go through it very kind of quickly. But if you have any additional questions regarding the presentation, just call me or send me an email, and I'll respond to you quickly and answer, and we'll together on the phone or something like that. But yeah, if you have any further questions before I go there, Bryce, can you turn that on for me? Do you have the new one I sent you, right?
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Okay, is everybody able to see that?
Not yet. It's there you
There.
go.
Okay, good. So
Sweet.
this is the framework for the 11 and 99 girls programs and stuff like that, which the direction we're trying to do. So the aim here for this whole entire thing is for the entire club to first have an identity, and to have an identity, everybody has to be doing kind of the same, working toward the same goal, if you will. So I'll skip through this and stuff and go right to page slide 5. The rest of them just talk about our mission and visions and our values, right? And then the last one you see there, number 5, there just talks about our shield and what that represents, again, as a collective, as our community and everything else. So number 6, actually, Bryce. You there, Bryce?
Yeah, this is slide 6.
We're still on number 1.
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Let's try this again. My end said I was sharing that, so let's try again. Okay, better?
Yeah, that's better. So folks, this is the fundamental stuff that we want to really nail down. So a lot of the teams are, doing that, but we want to make sure that we're consistently working on these fundamentals here that are highlighted at the very top. The receiving, this is the technical aspects of the game, the receiving, the passing, the dribbling, the shooting, and the heading. Those are all the fundamentals of the game. Without any of these, you can't really do the second one, the tactical part, because that takes decisions, right? If you can't make a decision, if you can't receive the ball well, you know what I mean? Because the next action determines how well you have control of the ball. So we have to work on those fundamentals up on top. So we're going to emphasize a lot of that work. Like I said, I see coaches doing it, and we're going to continue to do that a little bit more. At least have a whole day devoted to our Navy teams. We'll have a whole day maybe devoted to it. Have at least a little bit of one of those days devoted to technique, because we really need to master it. Next one. These are also along with the fundamentals of the game, the actual passing and stuff like that. These are also the general topics, the general principles that we have to worry about too. So on the attacking side, you have the attack, you have the support, you have the width, things like that. All of those things are important because you're going to have to make decisions based on these things. Improvisation simply means creativity, and you have to have that ball control and really good technique to be able to make decisions on impromptu basis when you have no one around you. So on the other side, we have to work on the pressure and the cover and stuff, that speed of coverage and things like speed of approach, angle of approach, all those little things that are technical aspects of defending as well. So all of that has a counter. So there's a counter. There's one way of doing things, and there's always the defensive side of doing the attacking side and the defensive side. So these are the things we want to focus on too. Next slide. So this will be our game model. Our game model really puts the whole entire club on one track mind, right? Now there's creativity for coaches. There's not one way to do things, but we always want to be moving towards our area, towards what we want to achieve as a collective whole that defines, again, our identity as a club. So defensively, we want to be a high pressing, counter pressing team with transitional play. And attacking, we want to be a systematic buildup. A buildup means we're playing out of the back, which we'll talk about, that we'll break these down. Playing out of the back with control, not just kickball, not just get it and go forward, right? That's not really soccer. There's times when it's needed and times where there's not. So we want to teach our players it's a much harder game, but it's more effective for them in the long run and more productive for them in the long run once they master it. Next slide. So these are kind of the areas where we got just kind of a slide to show you like what we're trying to work on here when it comes to the young ones all the way to the older ones. We want to instill passion first of all, because without that, you're not going to have any of the rest and stuff like that. So we want to be able to make sure that they're learning something. The specifics of what they're doing in this age group are right there on the bottom. I don't, like I said, I'll go through them if you want to on a private basis and stuff, but just too much time. The next one, I'll just get straight to the other parts and we can come back to this if we have time. Go ahead, go to the next one, Bryce. Again, these are like the principles here that, we want to work on. This is a competitive elite phase that we want to get. We're working as a unit. This is really quickly. We're starting to introduce maybe tactical strategies of play and things like that. But the main focus of the principles that we'll be focusing on once we master all of the above, which takes time. This is not something that we coaches and myself, we can't work miracles. It's not the Mighty Ducks on Disney. It takes a process to get to these things. So, but once they get the basics are down, the fundamentals are down, and the general principles are down, that you start getting more into these principles on the bottom, which is the general, the main, and the subs and things like that, which are more specific to our play and in general soccer period. Next slide. So this is just a quick version of what I've said already. So the formations will be up there. And the 11 aside and 9 aside, so they'll be up there for you to see. We can talk this again, go through it, but basically it's the same thing. See, the attacking, it's always the same focus. It's not changing. The defending and then the transitional play, which means the phases of it when you have the ball and then you lose it, or you don't have the ball and you win it. So next slide. This is the one I was telling you. This has a little bit more into it. So we're going to be playing out of the back. These are the advantages of playing out of the back. From the goalkeeper, we don't want to kick it long. That doesn't do anything. What we want to do is we want to entice our team to come in, and so creating space behind them so then we can attack them, whether that's going to be a systematic buildup, as we're talking about, through possession play, and or one quick counterattack, depends on what we're doing at that particular time. But it also allows us to, it gives our players more confidence because they're playing as a unit, and it creates more opportunities to be able to build it up rather than to just kick it forward. Because when you kick it forward, you put the ball in the air, it becomes a 50-50 ball. You don't know if you're going to win. Next slide. So the midfield play, again, we want to maintain possession. We want to be if you look at that green little slide there, that kind of tells you all the positions. It's not even all of them, by the way, but it's all the midfielders are really working. They're the ones that are really the heart of the whole entire program there. You control that midfield, you're basically controlling the game. That's kind of the intent. But the midfielders are doing a lot of work. They have to be really good at the technical piece. Again, one more time, they have to know how to be able to pass accurately, in even different ways of passing, which, they're posted on the earlier one, flighted balls, air balls, pass on the ground or pass in the air, things like that, and distribute the ball, and look at teams that also have a good vision, have a good high IQ for what's going on around them. So again, you cannot get this until you master the technical piece that I talked about earlier. You cannot do that. So that's why it's crucial that the technicals are always being worked out. Next. This is our defending. Again, if you notice, it's all the same thing. It's it's moving the ball forward quickly, attacking quickly, creating an opportunity to be able to combine up front, which means that's the support. That's the mobility that you saw in those early ones when your quick combination plays, and make sure that we are moving that defense around. But in order to keep doing that, we have to move the ball accurately, pass accurately, to be able to shuffle that defense and open up and break some lines through it. Meaning breaking lines, meaning you're basically going through 2 defenders and moving into another area, moving forward. So that'll be what we're working on. So if you can see, it's all connected. It doesn't change anything. So the focus for us will be fixing technical, addressing technical all the time. The receiving, how well was it? Are you sideways on? All of that stuff. Are you dribbling well, under control? Do you know all your dribbling? You have speed dribbling, the dribbling to maintain possession, dribbling to get out of pressure. All of those things are all individual workouts that our coaches, we'll be having coaching sessions and things like that to be able to kind of go out through all of those. That way they have a clear understanding. So when they have they go to practices, they have a larger toolbox to be able to get some training sessions done. So we're trying to we're going that route. Again, that process takes time. Next slide. This will be just an example of some topics that you can run. These are alternating, and you'll see in the next slide how you'll be able to program something like that. So you can, usually what you do is you have during your week and your 3 practices, you'll have a defending practice and you'll have an attacking practice and stuff like that, because those are the things we want to work on. Those are our general principles and our principles of play, to be able to come up with our identity, as we said, attacking team and a good, strong defending team right away. So it's always going to be that way. So then you have your midfield work as well too. So these are just examples. You can mix them around anytime you want to, but usually at Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best way. Then Fridays is a more what they refer to as an activation day, which is a little more light. And now you work positional play rather than high level activity that is extensive. You want it to be intensive, but for individual only. That meaning like your forwards, they're taking shots, so you have a setup for your forwards. Your defense is working on putting pressure on the ball, so that'll be individualized training for your Friday practices or whatever your third practice may be. So that way it's tapered down from being highly intense, and it starts tapering down to Friday where it's pretty relaxed because they're about to have a game. So you don't want to sit there and tax your players so hard that they'll be tired the very next day. Next slide. So these are so this is what on the left here. If you can you amplify that, Bryce, a little bit more?
Hey, Victor, we got to wrap this up pretty quick. We only got like 10 minutes left. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So on your left, you see the training session there. You got the training session, how it should be designed for our players. And it doesn't matter. That's just mine. The coaches can have their own as long as we're going to be asking for training sessions and stuff like that for them to provide to us just the way that we could see it. If there's a plan to actually achieve what we're trying to achieve. And on the right side there, you'll see the year-round evaluation form that the coaches are now getting for the spring to be able to get that and make sure that we are looking at progress for our players. Thank you. If you have any questions, again, you feel free to email me or call me.
So real quick, I'll take just 1 minute. We've been working on this as a club for quite a while, and we're really trying to what we call is vertical integration with all of our coaches and trying to get everybody on the same page. And we've been working on this since Logan was here, so it's been 3 or 4 years. But we're at a point now with our technical directors and with the skill level that we have in the club with our coaches that we can do a better job of teaching. Of course, we want to keep all this to be fun, and we can do those things with also being really good with the technical pieces and the playing aspects of the game. So I just want to address a couple things and I'll open it up. So the 13 girls this year don't have a lot in that pool. We're hopeful to get more at the session or at tryouts. If we don't have enough of those 13 players, we'll have a place for them to play. We have a very big group of 14s, and so we will intermix those players, and we just don't know what the numbers are. But the 13s, because it has smaller numbers, they're not going to get dropped off the face of the earth. We'll have a place for them to play. And so just want to at least let you guys know that they're going to still be playing 9-a-side, most of them. Some of them may get an opportunity to play up with the 12s at times. That's perfectly fine. We're still going to move players here and there from time to time, up and down, but not a ton. But we do want to expose the players that are getting better or at the top of their group and expose them to different levels. But we're trying to stay in age group as much as possible. 14s is a pretty big group, so we feel pretty good about having 2 teams at the 13-14 for next year, and we're hoping for 3. So with that, don't have a whole lot of time. Want to open this up for questions, and then if we need to, we can give you emails. You guys can talk to Victor personally and all that stuff. But we want to give you time to ask some quick questions. So we're turning it over to the parents now.
There's a question in the chat, Blake. Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you want me to take that, Blake?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I put that email out, and this is Dave. This summer, Blake and I have talked, and we haven't finalized plans, but we are going to train more than we did last summer, and we are going to go to more tournaments. That final thing has not been finalized. I hope to have a parent meeting in the next 2 weeks where we can sit down and discuss our options, get some feedback from the parents, and make sure that everybody is ready for it. This group has made a lot of progress, and now is the time to push on and to do more. And that means playing better teams and better leagues and better tournaments. So that is coming, but that's what that email was about.
Yeah. So coaching assignments right now, we're not making any coaching assignments at this point. We're waiting till we get some coach evaluations back, but also we have a lot of parent coaches. And so the only coaches that we know in the program right now in the entire club at this point is Dave's at U12 and Sam's at U11 girls. And that's it, all of it. And the reason is because we have quite a few parent coaches, and we want their kids to have to go through tryouts and experience that. And also, we don't know what our numbers are like. And so we're going to have a very good coach for the 13s and 14s. We're looking at a pretty good pool of coaches. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. We're trying to find more women coaches, and we're working on that too. We brought in quite a few in the last 4 or 5 months, and so we're working on those things too. So I'm hopeful by the end of tryouts, we'll have a very good idea of who those coaches are, and we'll be sharing those as we go along. With that. But for now, we're just wanting to see where people land, and once we start assigning player coaches, then it'll fall out. I normally, in the clubs that I've run in the past 30 years, I've announced coaches in February, March. This year, we've brought in a lot of new coaches, and we have a lot of very high-level coaches. Victor's in charge of the girls' side. You're going to see him a lot. Like, he's going to be out there a lot, and he's coached a ton. So the 13 girls are going to have a good experience. Who that person leading it's going to be, we don't know yet, but Victor will be there. And so you're just going to have to trust us that we're going to get you a good coach and a good person in there. So, yeah, and we don't want to just stick anybody in there. I could fill that slot pretty quickly, but we want to get the right person for the right group. So, yeah, sorry about not having that, but like I said, we're trying to make sure we get the right coach with the right team. Any other questions? Typically, if we hang up and we get on, we get on to the next thing, and if you guys think of something, Victor's email is on our website, and we can share that with you, and you can reach out to email him questions, and Victor is very accessible, so he can even call you if that's something you'd like. So we're really trying to get really better at communicating, not just via email and posting things, but also just being accessible to the parents. And these Zoom meetings we're probably going to do every month or two. I'm thinking every 2 months we'll be doing this with each team. So the directors can come in with the coaches, and we can just have a little question and answer, and just trying to, like I said, improve communication and also feedback from us to you, and then from you to us.
Robin has a question.
Yeah, so you do not have to go to all 4 tryouts. Kids are doing lots of things during that time. The reason we did 4 is because of that very issue. In previous years, we only had 2 days, and then if somebody misses, we only get to see them once. So we prefer that you make 3 of the 4. If you can make 4, great. But our hope is by the 3rd session, we'll be able to figure that out pretty quickly. And if you're going to miss something, let us know. That'd be helpful, because we plan our sessions out and the tryouts out based on our numbers. So it'd be helpful to know that if your child's not going to make that session.
And Blake, just to jump in, remember
yep.
we did switch
Yep.
tryouts, so
Yep.
we have 3 sessions instead of 4 sessions for tryouts this year.
Thanks, Bryce. Yeah, we had a great plan, and then we thought we'd get access to the North Pod at the Y, and we couldn't get it. And so we had a lot of kids if people remember tryouts from last year, we had a lot of kids on a very small spaces. So we had to restructure how we did the tryouts just within like 3 weeks ago, just to create better spaces for the kids so we can evaluate them better. And so we had to eliminate one of the 4 sessions. So Bryce, I think, has sent out an email with the changes. So please make sure you keep up with that. It'd be great.
Again, if you have any questions, folks, you can let us know. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you guys again on the field.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.